Ink-a-dink, 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 ink-a-dink. Wow!
Okay. Let's try again. Let's try again. Come on, Walter. Come on. Come on. Come on. Give us a little dusting. Come on. Let me move my hat out of the way because we're still doing our Christmas special. Come on, Walter. Give us a little bit of a dusting. I mean, you're a feather duster kitty, so come on. And while you're at it, could you see if you could entice Oswald out? Now on our other Christmas show, there we go. She cleaned something off the table. Good work. In our other Christmas show that we did Friday night, and blessed Sunday morning to you. In our other Christmas show, we talked about our new addition to the family, Oswald Cobblepot. Well, that's Kristen's name. Kristen wants to call him Oswald Cobblepot, but we want to put it to a vote. So, kids and Bill and everybody else and all the other members of our audience, could you please help us out? You can email Basil. That's Basil BuddhaCat at gmail.com. And you know the name Basil BuddhaCat. And you could look him up on Facebook. And likewise, you could look up Walter Forest Cat on Facebook. And Lilith Tell Included Free of Charge on Facebook. And likewise, they have Gmail accounts. Basil BuddhaCat at gmail.com. WalterForestCat at gmail.com. Lilith Tale Included Free of Charge at gmail.com. And soon to be a new Facebook page for once we get the name straight, because Kristen wants Oswald Cobblepot, and I don't know where she got that name from, but and other members of our family, me, seem to be more interested in calling him either. And this is more in keeping with Basil's roots as a Buddhist. My roots as a Buddhist and Buddhist philosophically and a Christian, devout Christian religiously. But we're leaning more toward Basil and I. We're leaning more toward either Kathmandu, and that's with a K, Kathmandu, or Kathmandu with a C. And so, audience, we need you to send us your votes to basilbuddhacat at gmail.com and let us know what you think. Which one do you choose? I mean, we got to figure out some way to win one of these discussions with Kristen. I mean, she's the producer of the show, so I understand what you say goes. You're the producer, and we're just the lowly studio actors. She's like Hitchcock in a way, you know. It's another European dude that he's pretty much take charge kind of guy, and relegated his stage hands and actors to the roles of servitude, and that's kind of how Kristen is. I mean, she really doesn't leave us much leeway except on what we talk about during the show, but other than that, we don't stand a chance against her. It's the fact that she's a massage therapist. That's what it is. She could kick my arse from here to Sunday if she wanted to, which she doesn't, thankfully. But so okay. Last time, everybody. Hey, we still got Lil on the line. Lil, hey, Lil, you're still there. All right, Basil. This is going to be one heck of a long distance, Bill. But It's worth it. So you want to do another Christmas show. And Walter, come on back up. Come on. The 42nd work week is over, apparently. And, well. Hey, Basil, look at this. Why does your hat say Merry Christmas? And my hat says Bah Humbug. What does Jeffrey Peterson's hat say? Nothing. That's still better than Bah Humbug. So what's this all about? Why do I get to be the Scrooge of Basil says, that's because, actually he says, I'm the boss. Meow. Said, that's because he is the host of the show. He's the boss. And I am merely his translator and co-host and chief gopher. Okay, so we did our one Christmas show Friday night, Basil, and of course you took us off topic, sort of onto talking about Kevin Gallagher's insistence upon Justin Bieber doing the instead of doing okay, Justin Bieber apparently is doing in the picture. Justin is doing 666 sign of the devil. So which establishes Justin Bieber as a devil worshiper along with his minions. And we talked about torture, another favorite Christmas topic. We talked about whether 2009, the torture conducted by the Bush administration prior to January 20th, 2009, when President Obama officially declared torturing people to be a crime, and maybe not to be a crime, but at least to be, we're not going to do it anymore. And we talked about your contention and Dick Cheney's contention. Now, Cheney's contention, that's Dick Cheney, not to be confused with Lon Chaney, playing the Wolfman, who was a lot nicer guy, and didn't always say, wah, 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 wah. Dick Cheney's contention was that the torture that we conducted between 2000 and 2009 saved God knows how many millions of lives we will never know, because Cheney will never offer any evidence of any of it, or any circumventing any plots against anyone by the use of torture. And he claims that that's actually a response between 2002 and 2009 on the response to the invasion of Iraq by ISIS in 2013 and 2014. Now that's sort of like, that's pretty prescient on Cheney's part, and G.W. Bush and Alberto VO5 Gonzalez and the rest of them. It's pretty prescient of them to understand in advance that in 2002 up to 2009, they knew that there would be a group known as ISIS that would be causing problems in Iraq and in Syria. And apparently everywhere else in the world that nobody seems to have any evidence that they're at, or except for perhaps Dick Cheney, but he's not telling because he doesn't want to get himself in any more trouble for violating the Geneva Convention and doing what actually after World War II, there had been some torturing on the part of the Japanese of our soldiers and British soldiers and other soldiers that they captured. And those individuals, those Japanese individuals that tortured people illegally were tried and in many cases were executed. Now that's not to say that Basil or I believe that our CIA agents should be executed for following the orders of Dick Cheney and George Bush and Alberto Gonzalez, but hey, the buck stops somewhere. So, and Basil countered. Basil countered to this notion of the torture being a response to something that happened somewhere between 11 and between 4 and 11 years later. Basil contends that actually, in fact, the torture that we inflicted as a country, that our CIA inflicted upon these people, along with the invasion of Iraq to topple a regime that had nothing to do with 9/11, that is actually what caused the mayhem going on now. That was part of the root of both the insurgency in Iraq, when the Iraqis rose up against the occupying American forces, and this new wave of terrorists known as ISIS. And I don't know, but the last time I looked at the dictionary, terrorists, the definition of terrorist was somebody that terrorizes. And I'm not really quite sure if it isn't safe to say that Basil knows exactly where I'm going with this. So he's going to beat me to the punch, and he's going to say it. He said, said, actually, terrorist is someone who terrorizes. Therefore, a president that orders the bombing of a city, Baghdad, in a country that had nothing to do with 9/11 was in fact terrorizing their citizens and torturing people, the vast majority of which have never even had charges filed against them for doing anything. That is terrorism. And that makes America, and more specifically the CIA, and even more specifically George W. Bush and Dick Cheney and Alberto Gonzales, who passed along the order to our CIA agents. And many of them refused those orders and refused to torture the people that were being detained. And they had the right to do that because in a war, soldiers do have the right to refuse to carry out illegal or unjust orders from their superiors. That actually the buck stops with Dick Cheney and George Bush and Alberto Gonzales, and those are the folks that we might want to consider charging with crimes and letting a jury consider whether they should be executed. Just a thought. Okay, so Basil, you've got another show going on here. How come a second show? And what's this bah humbug baloney's all about? What's that all about? I'm going to wear it because you're the boss and I'm the co-host. You're the host and I'm the co-host, so I'll do what you say. But Basil says that he's become, these are notes that he's left for me in Cat Scratch, that say Basil, for the sake of today's second Christmas show, will be calling himself the Reverend Billy Bob Basil. Okay. Fair enough. Reverend Billy Bob Basil. And I take it that you're going to become a fundamentalist religious leader. Basil has said, said, nah, not at all. But I do like to make fun of other fake religious leaders. So because of that, I'm taking on the name the Reverend Billy Bob Basil. So who are you going to take on? Who are you going to spoof today? Who's spoof-worthy in our second Christmas show? Okay. Basil said, just pick up the phone and find out. Well, we can't pick up the phone till it rings, Basil, and we We can call out, but we'd have to be calling out fake religious leaders from the past. And we're not sure if any of them are either, even in the hereafter anyway. I mean, who they may be, and they may be under the in the eternal fires of damnation. Okay. Oh, it's on the Inky Dinky phone. Good morning. Welcome to Basil BuddhaCat Presents. Okay, Tweety, this is the guy that we actually got. Really? Okay. Tweety, can you check and see if it's we had a fellow that Basil and I participated in a little seminar with because he kept calling us, and check and see if it's him. Okay, Tweety's giving me the flick of the beak, which means he's got that guy on hold still, but we're giving a little preference, albeit on the Inky Dinky phone anyway. We're giving a little preference to a fellow by the name of Billy Bob Graham. Okay. And a blessed Sunday to you. Thank you for calling Basil BuddhaCat Presents. Is this the Reverend Billy Bob Graham? Said yeah. I said yeah. It's Billy Bob Graham, not to be confused with Billy Graham, because Billy Bob Graham is an up and coming. Hold on. Lil, you still there? Yeah. Okay. Lil wanted to make sure we were picking up the charges for her long distance call from the hereafter. So yeah. So we've got the Reverend Billy Bob Graham on the line, and he's telling us that he's not exactly Billy Graham. He's an up and coming Billy Graham, and he's been studying all the stuff from Billy Graham, all his sermons, and he's reading all his articles from the newspaper. And we get Billy Graham and the Danbury News Times on, I think it's Saturday, and then some of his thoughts are quite interesting and quite non-controversial and quite Christian in nature. But okay, the Reverend Billy Bob Graham is telling me that the heck. Hold on. Okay. The Reverend Billy Bob Graham is telling us that Billy Graham is old hat. He's getting too. He's afraid to use the fire and brimstone that he used to be so proud to use. And so Billy Bob Graham, the Reverend Billy Bob Graham, is getting ready to step in and do his thing and take us into the new era of fire and brimstone Christianity. Okay. So, you have anything to add to the conversation? Says actually, not really, because he's still studying the sermons, and he's picking them apart pretty much, and that's why he's telling us that the old Reverend Billy Graham is gone out to pasture, as evinced by the fact that we got the ringtone. He's got Billy Graham there, and he's trying to teach him a thing or two before he takes over. Okay, who do you have on hold? Tweety, who do you have on hold? You say it's somebody that's more to the point than the Reverend Billy Bob Graham? Okay, yeah, Tweety says, Tweety's holding up a sign that says, yeah, it's your old friend, the Reverend Manassas. And Tweety's still not sure, so we're going to have to ask. Okay, hello, Reverend Manasseh? Okay, Reverend Manasseh, who sort of has a different tonality to his voice depending upon which group he's talking to. He has a Jamaican tonality on his cell phone messages. He's got the Brooklyn tonality when he's talking to people in Brooklyn. He's got the southern, all the different southern accents, tonality, about 20 of them. You've got Tennessee, you've got Texas, you've got Mississippi, you've got Alabama, you've got northern Floridian, southern Georgian, and they're all different. There's a little bit difference in the tonality, and if you listen, you can get to know these tonalities, and you can actually tell a Tennessee southern accent from a Texas southern accent, because they are quite different. I can't tell you how, but they are. You can tell them apart. So it's the Reverend Manasseh, and Basil's got a starter question for you, just to get things warmed up a little bit. And okay, I'm gonna quote him first, and then you can answer the question. Okay, Basil asks you, when you say Manasseh, do you mean the Civil War battle of Bull Run, or do you mean bullshit? He says he'll have to get back to us on that because he's not quite sure. Depends what part of the country he's in. When he's in Virginia, obviously, it's Bull Run. When he's on the Bull Ship, it's a different accent totally. And this humbug thing is really, I'm not wearing this, Basil, because it's really not fair to me to have to. Alrighty, I'll put it back on. Okay. You still there, Reverend Manasseh? Okay, Basil says, says, enough of that guy. We got in on the conference call, and it was just a bunch of bull. So onward. We're gonna. Sorry to put you aside, but good luck with your whatever you do. Bye. Well, now we can at least get back on to the subject of Christmas, Basil. Basil said, says that's what you think. Okay. Basil, he gets paid more money for controversial subjects than Christmas. I mean, he says the ratings are better, the advertisers like it better, and by the way, P.A.W. root beer, Paw root beer. And how do we know this is Basil's favorite root beer? You can look and see dribbles of it in his litter pan. It's that extra letter that gives it all the extra flavor and makes all the difference. And Tootsie Roll. And the wrapper's around somewhere. But Tootsie Roll, Basil's favorite candy, and if you want evidence of that, then go ahead. Again, just like with the P.A.W. root beer, look in the litter pan, and you'll know that Tootsie Roll is Basil's favorite candy. And since we're trying to get the Pepsi account, we're starting with a little part of the Pepsi account. Schweppes. Schweppervescence. Okay. Okay, now. Okay, everybody's off the phone? Nope. Reverend Manasseh is still on. He's still trying to figure out what still trying to figure out what accent to use with us, which is the more appropriate one to get our attention. But Basil wants to get back to a little bit more salient news, and he says, well, Revelation. I mean, that's biblical. Basil says, Revelation. There's a new Benghazi revelation that we're going to be hearing about from Fox pretty soon. And Basil's got the scoop on them because he says that the new Benghazi revelation includes the Loch Ness Monster. I don't know what you mean by that. Basil says either you can wait to hear about it on Fox News, or You can hear about it right here and now, in the right here and now. And he's got the scoop on Fox News, and as he is inclined to say, screw Fox News. Here comes cat news. And okay, so what's the new Benghazi Loch Ness revelation, Basil? Basil says actually President Obama, Secretary of State at the time Hillary Clinton, and what the? You might as well include everybody else in the Obama administration. I mean, they're all guilty of everything, so might as well get them in on the fun in this one too. He says that the new revelation about Benghazi involves the Loch Ness Monster. And why did we say the Loch Ness Monster, Basil? Why? What has the Loch Ness Monster got with Benghazi? Basil says, Kevin Gallagher's done 85 shows on Benghazi, and he's done 2 shows on Loch Ness, the Loch Ness Monster, in his 20 years of covering all kinds of weird coincidental things. And what the? You might as well blame Obama for the Loch Ness Monster too. So they've got to be connected. If you could blame President Obama for the Loch Ness Monster, and you can blame him for Benghazi, then there you go. And with that, Basil says he wants to close down the news. He's got the ads in, and that's the most important part of any show. So we're gonna trail out with, I don't know, either the fish tanks, either the new fish tank with the old fish tank with the new fish, or Walter, or Lilith, or Sad Cat Diary, or Sad Dog Diary, or something, because Basil's just plumb tuckered out and has nothing else to say. And a blessed Sunday morning. This has been Basil BuddhaCat Presents. I'm David Stevenson, Basil's co-host, interpreter, and chief gopher, along with Paw Imbiber, and Basil BuddhaCat center slot, and enjoy the rest of your holiday season. We'll see you probably after the New Year, if Kevin hasn't done a show that shows that the New Year doesn't even actually exist. Have a blessed Sunday. Bye.
They say they'd rob your grandma blind on Wall Street, fritter her away her Medicare on Wall Street. And Pharma Oil and their pet fox don't care if she lives in a box, so long as they wear platinum jocks on Wall Street, Meow.